Hi everyone, welcome you all. So in the last video, I have shown you how we can do serialization and deserialization using Java concept, right? So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly where we use the concept in REST assured automation while sending the request. So for that, I'm just going to take one API, that is student API. So by using this API, we can create a new student records, we can retrieve the existing student records, all these things operations we can perform. So especially I'm going to use JSON format as a request and response in this particular example. And XML format I will cover in the another video. So here as a first step, I will show you an example for post and get request without serialization and deserialization. So without using serialization, deserialization, how we can perform. And after that, I will show you again the same request, post and get request using serialization and deserialization. Okay, both the ways I will show you now. So first let us see how we can send post and get request in REST assured automation using without serialization, deserialization. This is a common process. Okay, so let me just to demonstrate this, first of all I need to run this particular API because this API is available in my local system. So I need to run this API, and then once it is up and running, we can start writing our code. So let me just introduce that API which I have mentioned here, that is student API. So here I have this particular jar file, studentApp.jar. I need to run this API to get the URL of application. Let me open my command prompt. So once I open the command prompt, here I need to execute this studentApp.jar file. So let me just execute this particular one. So I am just giving this particular command, and here, just a second, here I need to run a command called java -jar and studentApp.jar server.port number. So in this particular port number, my API will up and running. Let me execute this command. It will start my API. So once it is started, we can just play with this by my API. So basically it will create student records, and it will retrieve the records. It will update the existing student records, deleting the student records. So these are the different operations we can perform by using this particular API. So now my API start and up and running. So once you up and running, just open the browser. Now I'm going to access my API. So once you give this particular URL, and the /list will give you what are the list of students are available in my database. So I just executed this URL. So let it execute. It is started already 8085, right? Yeah. Just hold on for a few seconds. It is still getting the data. So I have just sent a request. All right, so now I got some data here. So I have just run my API, and once you send this URL, you will get some data here. So there are student ID, first name, last name, and all the data will be displayed here. Let me maximize this window. So totally we have 100 records are there. So along with the ID, first name, last name, email address, and program, and different courses. Okay, so this is a basically API request. Fine. So now I'm going to use this particular API, right? So to automate my REST assured automation. So what I can do is, let's go to Eclipse. As a first step, as I told you, I'll show you post and get request, how we can send the post and get request without using serialization and deserialization. This is a plain post and get request. So here I'm post means I'm going to create a new record. So currently in this particular API, so I have only 100 records. I don't have many more, right? Only 100 is the last one. I'm going to create a new record. So after that, I will just get the request. So I will send a student ID and then get the information about the student. So that is part of your get request. So to automate this, I'm going to open my Eclipse. So this is the first part I'm going to show you without serialization and deserialization. So here I'm going to create a new class. This is a new package we created earlier. So in the same class, I'm going to create another class. Right click new class. I'll name it as a student API test with no serialization. Okay, this is a plain. So click on the finish, and I'm going to use testng here. So I'm not going to take a main method. So by default, if I don't use any serialization concept, we use hash map. Okay, we will create a map which contains the data because we need some data to perform the post request. So what is the data we required here is we require some JSON format of data. So here as an input in the post request, we need this data. So this is there in the JSON format like ID, first name, last name, email, program, and different courses. So this is the payload request payload which we need to send through post request, right? So to maintain this particular data, I will create a hash map object, hash map in Java. Okay, so here go to Eclipse. Now here I am creating first a hash map. Let's create a public and a hash map. I'm creating hash map. Let's say map. Sorry, public hash map. And for that, I'm creating a map object is equal to new hash map. So new hash map. I created one object of hash map class. Import this hash map from java.util. So what is this map? Map contains the key and the value pairs. Now I'm going to add some keys and values. So here I will create one method. So test method. Let me say public void create a new student. Create a new student. So this is an API test. So this is basically post request. So this is, I'll specify the test annotation, and also I will give it the priority is equal to 1. And basically what it is, this is a post request I'm doing. Post request which will creates a new student record. New student record. Now by using this hash map, I will specify the data which I'm going to send through post request. So for test annotation, which we need to import from testng package. So I'm just going to import testng package, right? So test annotation. All right. So here, first of all, I need to write the data into map. So how we can write the data into the map? So map.put is a method. Map.put. Here we can specify the key and the value. So this is just a put method, guys. So here we need to say put key, and here we need to say value, 2 parameters. So as per my data, the first parameter is ID, first name, last name, email, program, and then some courses. So this data we need to maintain in the hash map. So here I'm going to write all the data in my hash map. Now you can see map.put ID is equal to 101, and first name is Pavan, last name is Kumar, email and program name I have created. Now we have one more field is there. So courses. Now if you see here in the courses, there is again sublist is there. So if on other elements, if you see the other attributes, we have a single value. ID is single, first name, last name, email, program. But this value contains multiple things. So if you want to store multiple values into a single variable, we can use array list concept from Java. So especially this particular attribute I'm going to store as part of array list. So what I need to do here is I need to first, let me just go to Eclipse. So currently I have added only ID, first name, last name, email, and program. And still I need to add courses. So courses contains multiple values. So what I should do is, first of all, I need to create array list object. So array list. So array list we need to import from java.util. And once we have imported this array list, and I give the course list which contains only string type of data. Now new array list. So inside this array list, I am adding 2 courses currently. So Java and Selenium. So how we can add all the values into the array list? By using add method. So once we have added these values into courses list, this is the one, and this I will pass as a parameter into the map. Now this particular parameter I will pass into the map. So map dot put of, sorry, map dot put. So this is the method we need to use, map dot put. So map dot put of courses list. So the courses list I need to pass. So basically what is this? The attribute is courses, right? The attribute is courses. That attribute value we need to specify. That's the first thing. That's my attribute value, comma, and the value which courses list contains the courses. I need to pass it here. Fine. So this is how we need to pass. So courses list is a variable which contains the 2 values, and 2 values are assigned in the courses variable. So this is how we need to add all the values into map. Now this particular map contains all the values. Now these values we need to send as part of the request. So here I'm going to send a put request. So first of all, we need to start BDD keywords. So the first one is given, right? So here we have to specify the content type. So these keywords we can use only if we import static package, right? So static packages. So I'm just trying to import this static package from RestAssured, io.restassured.start, and the other one is hamcrest. So import static org hamcrest.matches, and then we can start using our BDD keyword. So in the given session, I'm going to send a post request now. So in the given method, I need to specify the first content type. So dot content type. So I'll say dot content type. So what is the content type I'm going to send here is the content type is JSON format I'm sending. So I'll say content type dot JSON. So this content type we need to import from io.restassured.http. So content.json. And then I need to send the body along with the request. So what is that body? Map. So map contains a body. So here I'll say map. So map contains all these details like ID, first name, last name, email, program, and finally courses. So all these data we maintain in the map itself. So I'm sending the map as part of the body. And once you send the request, well, these are the part of your request, but still we haven't sent any request. So now I'm going to send a request. So inside the when method, I can send post request. Let's say dot post. And what's the post URL? So to create a new student, okay, so this is my post URL, HTTP localhost. Currently my API is running my localhost, and 8085 is a port number and student. So this is a exact API request. This is a post request. And after sending this request, I need to verify. So let's say then part. So in the then method, I can verify the status code. Let's say status code. I'm expecting 201, which is status code. Whenever I create a new file, it will return status code is 201. And I need to also assert that once the student is created, okay, in the response, we will get student added message in the response body. So I will also verify that. So let's say body of, and here MSG. So message, I want to verify this message equal to, so I message equal to, and student added. So this is a message I'm verifying. This should be part of your response as per my API. So student added, and then semicolon. So this is the end of the statement. So here body should contain this because I need to do assertion here, just not only comparison. If the comparison this is successful, I need to make my test method pass or failure. So here I'm also writing a assert command, assert that. So dot assert that. So this parameter will make after specifying this one, so it will compare message equal to student added or not. Then assert command will execute and make my test method passed or failure based upon the response. So this is how we need to send a request. So here map dot put here semicolon is missing. Okay, so this is how we need to send a post request to the API, and here the data will be maintained in the map. So finally we are sending this map as part of the body, and post request will be sent, and in the response we will get this particular message. So student added. So we are sending 101 record, right? And student added is a response message we are verifying. So this is a normal way we are going to do post request. So here we haven't used any serialization concept, right? Now let's execute this particular script. So right click, run as. Currently my API is up and running, and if you also see this particular URL, you don't see the 101 record. The last record is 100. So now I'm going to add 101 record. Okay, let's execute, and also giving some different email ID. Let's run this, run as testng test. So now I have run my test. So it is executing. So let's wait for a few seconds. All right, so now it is executed. Now it is getting passed, right? It is getting passed. So once it is passed, let's cross check, because the body also contains the same response. That's the reason my test case got passed. Now, if you go and refresh your request here in the last record, so after 100 record, so you will see 101 record here. So this is the 101 record. So let me maximize this page. So if you just come down a little bit here, this is a 10 record which is created just now. Okay, so this is how we can send a post request. Now, if you want to capture this one, if you want to get this particular details of the student based upon the ID, I can also get the data by sending get request. So here in the another test, I am also sending the get request. So this will perform the post request. And if you want to verify the post request is properly done or not, we verified some items here. But anyway, I can also verify the same thing by sending the get request, whether the data is created or not. So I'm creating one more test in the same class where I will send the get request. Okay, so here I'm using get request to retrieve student details, Now how we can do that? So let me just create again one more test, ng test. Let's say void get student record. So inside this method, I will say this is @test annotation, and also I will give priority is equal to 2. So this is a test method. So here I'm going to send a get request. So let's start with the given, and given session we don't have any prerequisites. So let's say when. Now here we need to send a get request. So if you want to get the especially student details, we need to pass this particular URL as part of the get request. So student/101. So if you pass till here, it will give you all the students data. But if you specifically say the student ID, it will give you that particular student details. And then I will verify something. So in then section, I will verify the status code, and I'm expecting status code should be 200, and asset that, and also body should contains, I'm verifying the body asset dot. You can also write in the same line, or you can also write in the next line, asset that dot body should contains ID, because once you get the data, again ID, first name, last name, everything will be there in the response. So in that particular response, especially I'm verifying the ID. If you want to verify other things, you can also write all the other things. Let's say equal to ID should be 101. So that's my expectation. ID should be 101. Just a second. Right, so ID should be 101. This is my verification, and just end the point. So dot body ID comma equal, it is equal to. Okay, so that's it, guys. So here I'll say ID equal to, so dot body ID double quotations. Okay, so equal to 101, and we need to add one more bracket, and then one more bracket is also missing. Done. Fine, so this method is end here. This is the end with the class, right? So this is a basically get request I have done, and 101 record I'm extracting, and then status code should be 200, and the body should have ID value 101. So this is I'm expecting from the second request. So in the both the requests, we haven't used any serialization or deserialization concept. This is a plain post and get request for that particular API. So we already sent this one earlier, which is created 101 record. So for now, I'm not running this API. I'm just disabling this. Now I'm running only this particular test to check whether the details are created in the database or not, right? So body should ID equal to this one. And if you want to log all the information and student information, we can say log.all. We can say log.all also, right? Now let's execute this test. Only I'm running get student record, but this test we already ran it, and we created a new record, 101 record, right? Now run as test-ng test. Now it will get the same record from the database, 101 record, because this is already available in the database now. So now it is captured. Now you can see here all the log all we have set, right? Information, logging information. So we got all the information. Now we can see this is the record we have get it from the database. ID, first name, last name, email, program, and courses, right? So we have successfully got the JSON response. So this is how we can perform post and get request. Okay, and whenever do post request, if you want to have JSON body, we can specify that into the map, and we are sending that map directly along with the body, along with the post request. Okay, and when you do get request is same. We can just send a URL, capture the response, and we can validate something. So this is a normal way of sending the post request and sending the get request. So this first option I have shown you just now, post and get request without using serialization and deserialization. So now I'm going to show you the same test by using serialization and deserialization, right? So now let's go to Eclipse again. And if you want to run these two tests, again, we can run one after another. So what I will do is I will just restart my API so that it will be clear all the data. I'm just exiting from this and I'm rerunning my API. So once you rerun that API, and again, I can run the two test methods. So let's wait for a few seconds. It is starting my API once again. So once you started this API, again, the data will be cleared. Okay. So currently we have only 100 records now. So now my Tomcat server is started, fine. Now let us check your API is up and running. Just refresh this URL. Then you will get all the records again. So it is again refreshing my page. Let's wait for a few seconds. It refresh the page and get the fresh data. All right, so now I have refreshed my page and now I should get some data here. So, all right, so just I removed 101 record here. So it's giving all the list. So this is a URL which we need to send to get all the data. So currently all the data is refreshed. So I don't have any 101 record. So now again, I'm running my test again together. So first test, I'm just enabling here. So it will create a new record. And once it is created, immediately it will send the get request and verify and get the data from this particular record. Let's execute both together. Right click, run as test-ng test. So now I have run two test methods. One is a post request along with the body and the other one is get request. Now you can see here, the first request is got passed and second one is also passed. Create a new student, get passed and get the student record. So these are the student records, right? So this is how we can send a post and get request in the normal approach. Now, in the next example, I will show you how we can do the same thing by using serialization and deserialization approach. So in the post request, I will use serialization, and when you get the data, we use deserialization because we are going to send this particular data as part of the file. So once we will create an object, Java object, and I will pass that object as part of the serialization, and then I can get back that object as part of deserialization. So let us see one more example. So in the last session, I have told you what is exactly serialization and deserialization will do, right? So the same concept also we are going to use it here. Okay, so to do this, I'm just creating one more example. So student API test with serialization and deserialization both. So let's create another example. Let's new class student API test with a serialization example. Click on the finish and click on the finish. Now I created a new class, right? So before this, what I need to do is, as I said, this particular data, right? So this particular data, previously we used hash map, but this time we need to create a class where I need to specify these variables and I need to write get and set methods to initialize the values into these variables. So first let us do that. Okay, first we need an object, Java object, right? So then we will see how we can pass that object as part of your request. So here in the same package, first I will create another class called as a student class. So I will name it as a student class. And inside the student class, so inside the student class, I am just going to create certain number of variables and methods. So here I'm just copying some piece of code. Just observe. So these are the so these are the variables I created: ID, first name, last name, email ID, programming, and courses. Courses contains multiple values, so that I define this variable as a list type of string. List we need to import from Java. Now for every variable, I have created get and set method. So the first method here gets SID. When I call this method, it will provide you the ID value. And if you want to set the value of ID, we need to call this method by passing ID value. So the ID will be assigned to this internal ID. And then get first name, it will return the first name, and set first name. It will take first name as a parameter, assign the first name, and reassign the same first name into class variable. Similarly, get last name, set last name, get email, set email, get program, set program. So all the methods I have written. And especially for the courses also, get courses method I created, it return all the courses. So courses means it contains a multiple values, so return type will be list of string. And set courses, so here also we will get multiple courses which type is list of string, and these courses will be assigned to the class variable. And finally I have written one more method, get student record. So this will print all the values of the student id, first name, last name, email, program, and also courses. So this is a simple class I have created which contains the data, which contains the variables and different methods, get and set methods. Now we need to use this particular class to create an object. That particular object we need to pass as part of the post request. So what I'm going to do here is, let me just open side by side. Now this is my class, student class. Now in our test case, I will create a test. So first of all, I'm creating a test. Let's say public void. So create a new student, create a new student. So here I'm creating a new student. Let's say create new student, and here I'm using serialization concept, guys. Okay, so creating a student, I'm using serialization in the sense, simply we need to pass an object as part of the request, and then it will later convert it into the file format. So here create a new student, serialization process. So I will make this at the rate test annotation and give priority is equal to 1, and import this test annotation. We need to also import testng package. So just import the testng package, testng.annotations.test. Fine. So now I'm going to implement this particular method. So we need to create an object of student class. We need to pass that object as part of the request. That is the serialization. So first of all, we need to pass the data to these variables using the set methods. Okay. So, but array we need to courses variable, right? So this variable required multiple values, and we need to also create those values. So here I will create array list first. So I'll create array list variable, and it contains all the string values. And courses list I will prepare first of all, because this variable contains a multiple values. Courses list is equal to new array list. So I'll just created array list of a string type and then bracket. So import this array list from java.util here and here. Fine. So now we need to add some courses to this list. So courses list dot add of. So here the first value I'm saying Java, and the second value again courses list dot add of, again I'll say Selenium. Right. So now I have added two courses to the array because this variable we need to pass. So once you created this one, so we need to pass all the values to these variables by calling these methods, set SID, set first name, set last name. By calling these methods, we need to pass the values, and internally these methods will assign the values to these variables. So here, let me just create an object for student class. stu is equal to new student. So I'm just created object for student class, and using this object I can call all the methods, right? So let me just call all the methods. Along with this, I need to also pass the values into it. So now stu.setSID is equal to 101. I'm just calling this one, and first name, last name, set email, set program, and set courses. I'm sending this variable because this contains the multiple values. And at the time of receiving also here, set courses, I am receiving the courses variable here. So what type of variable I'm sending? List type of variable. So here also this should be list type of variable. Okay. So now I have passed all the details to these particular variables using set methods. Fine. So now I need to send a post request. So here, this particular object we have created. So if we pass this particular object through our post request, that is a serialization process. But earlier we have passed map object, but this time we are passing the complete object. So here, let's start for given. So in the given session, we need to specify the prerequisites. So if you want to use these gherkin keywords, we need to import static packages. So let me import RestAssured static package here. So import static io.restassured.star. Now I can use given, then all these keyword, and also imported the Hamcrest package. Let me also import Hamcrest package. Fine. So inside the given session, so I need to specify the prerequisites. So the content type I need to specify first. So I'll say content type. What is the content type I'm passing? JSON format. So content type dot JSON format. I'm sending JSON format. And also I need to specify the body. So the body is also part of your post request. So this time body should be sent as an object. So STU object completely I'm sending here. So now the complete object will be sent as part of the request. Then it will convert it into the file. So body STU. Now when, so I'm expecting something. So what I'm expecting, status code dot status code. I'll say dot, okay, so status code. Where is status code? So let me write one more time. So when request dot, it's not giving status code. Let's refresh. So body STU when, so inside the when we need to verify. So sorry guys, we have specified the body, but we haven't sent post request so far, right? So here we need to first send the post request, then we can expect something. So then post, and here we need to specify the post URL. So what is the post URL is? This is a post URL which we need to send, and this particular data, right? So this particular data will be sent as part of object along with the post request. So once it is sent the post request, and then we need to verify the response. So in the then we can say status code, I'm expecting 201 once it is created, and then asset that I'm verifying some asset, that is body should contains a message. What is that? MSG should have student created. So I'm just created, student added, student added. So this is a message I'm expecting in the response body, and I need to put one more bracket, right? So this is how we can verify this. So and here body message, and sorry guys, here we need to use a method equal to, right? So equal to student added. This is a message I am expecting from the response status code and along with this body. So this is how we need to send a post request by using serialization. So what we have done again is we have just created one student class where I have specified all the variables, and I have written all the get and set methods. By using those methods, set methods, I have assigned all the values to these variables, and also I have passed those values from the actual test method. I created a student class object. Through that object, I passed all the values, and then I have sent the post request. Along with this body, I'm sending an object. So now it will send the post request, and whatever the values we are passed through object will be used as part of the post request. And here we are getting the response. Okay, so I can just close the student.java file. So this is how we need to send a post request by using serialization process. Okay, now it is created. So now I will create one more test to get all the data of the record, so data of the student. So this time I will do the deserialization. So by using deserialization, I will get the record of the student. So for that, I will create one more test case. Okay, so let's create one more test, and both that I will run all the tests both together later. So once you also done the deserialization. So let's create one more request. So this is a get request I'm doing. Void get the student record using deserialization. So here I'm using deserialization process. Here I'm using deserialization process, and this should be at the rate test annotation. I will also give priority is equal to 2. So first priority is already given. So this is a priority is equal to 1. So get student record, here I'm using deserialization because the data is already posted. Now I'm get the data from the file. So to do this, first we need to create a student object, stu is equal to. So first we need to send a get request, right? So what is a get request we need to send is, this is a URL which we need to use to send get request. 101 record we already created above, right? So 101 is specified here. 101. So here I'm sending the 101 get request as. So once you get this response, and this response we need to convert that into object format. So dot. So what is a deserialization means? The data is available in the form of object. So now we need to get that object, sorry, the data is available in the form of file. We need to extract that particular file into object format. So there's a process of deserialization. So here we need to say as student.class. So what this command will basically do is whatever response it is giving, that is a part of your file, and that file will be converted as part of the objects as student.class, and this is going to store inside this variable. I'm going to store this in a variable, and that variable must be student object. So this variable must be student class object. So this sorry, we already created here, right? So we need to store that here. You can write in the same line, or we can write in the next line, anything is fine. Okay, so I have sent the get request and stored that request response as a part of object into this particular variable, right? So now by using this particular variable, I can extract the record from the database. Now I can say stu dot. So there is a method called get records, right? Print all the records. What is that method? So get student record. So this will print all the details, right? Including ID, first name, last name, everything. So I will just call that method from this object. Then I will print the details, system.out.println. So this is going to print all the data from the response. And if you want to capture a specific value from the record, I can specify that. We can also use get methods. So we already created get methods in the student class. We can use any of the get methods. When I say get here, you can get email, first name, last name, you can verify anything. Okay, so I'm trying to get SID because that should be I'm verifying, and println, instead of printing this statement, I am putting that into asset command so that it will verify ID is 101 or not. So asset dot asset equals, I'm using testng command, asset dot asset equals, and stu dot stid I'm getting captured, and what's the value I'm expecting here is 101 I'm expecting, right? So instead of this, we don't need to print anything here. That's it, guys. So this is how we need to capture the record by using deserialization process. So we capture the response and convert that into object. Now through that object, we are extracting the data again. So I'm extracting all the records. I also verifying the ID is 101 or not, right? So this is how we can send the request and get the response in deserialization approach. So serialization and deserialization approaches I have used. So now let us execute these two test methods and we'll see how they are going to execute. So before that, I'm just going to restart my API so that it will be cleared everything earlier, and then I will execute the two test methods together. So let me just Control C, and then I will run my API once again. All right, so now I have run my API once again, and then my data is displayed, and all the records are set to default state. So last record is 100. So we don't have 101 record. Fine. So now I'm going to execute my test case. So this is a first test, create a new student for using serialization concept. And the second one is getting the student record. Here I am doing deserialization process. So let's execute both together, run as testng test. And if you want to, okay, so if you want to print all the data, so this method anyway will get all the data, but if you want to extract specific to ID, first name, last name, you can call proper methods from the student object, right? So let's run as testng test. Okay, now my APIs are running. All right, so there is one failure. Let us see what is exactly that particular failure. So it is displayed all the data. So successfully it is displayed 101 John D. That means the request is successfully created. Student is also successfully added, but there is one expectation got failed. So what is that expectation got failed? Let us cross check here. I think here I have done some error. So here, okay. So here the message is incorrect, guys. So here added, right? So only one D should be there, but I have created the triple D. So because of this spelling mistakes, my test case showing as failure, but it is added, successfully added. Okay, so let me just run one more time so that we can see one more time. Let me just start my API. 1 second. So let it wait for a few seconds. Once it is started, again I can run my test case. All right, so my API is up and running. So I got the list here. Let's go and execute the same test one more time. Right click, run as testng test. All right, so now we can see my test got passed. So create a new student serialization. It is getting passed, and it is also passed. Deserialization is also passed. And if you see here, this particular data we are getting because we have printed the data here. So as to get student record, we captured all the data. Student record. This method is implemented as part of the student class to display all the information, right? So same method is retrieving the record here. So this is how we can use serialization and deserialization concept while sending your post request and also get request. Okay, so as part of this video, I have shown you how to send post and get request without using serialization and deserialization. Here we use hash map. Okay, so here we use hash map concept. And also I have shown you how to send post and get requests using serialization and deserialization. So here I am using JSON format as a request and response, and we can also pass some other format like XML. Okay, so I will show you that in the next video. So that's all for this video, guys. So thanks for watching.